sequel, but it's still. Hello, everybody. Welcome to Beyond the Credits. I'm your host, Matt Diaz, and today we have a ton of stuff to talk about. Breaking news just came in not but 10 minutes ago to the Beyond the Credits, so this is very exciting. Today we're going to be talking about movie news as always, the season premiere of The Walking Dead, what to expect. We have the social media and movies, how they correlate, and then kind of going off of that, trailers. Talking about trailers and good and bad trailers, part of the whole advertising process of the movie. But before we get into all of this, I would like to introduce you to a new batch of panelists here. So to my right, we have Nick, and you can say your last name because I forgot it.
DiLorenzo.
I'm probably like the worst host because I could not remember any of your last names.
No
and so how do you feel first time on the show? You guys, how you feeling?
I am excited.
Excited.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
No problem. And then to his left, we have Gia Doxy? Yes, okay. How are you feeling to be on the show?
Very excited.
Very excited. And then Devin Maldonado, yes. And so how are you feeling?
I'm very excited to be here.
Very excited. All right, so we are going to get right into it. Breaking news. This image right here came about maybe an hour before an hour before the show started, and we thought this was breaking news until 10 minutes ago. And so let's talk about this real quickly. Guardians of the Galaxy, big movie back in 2014, coming out with a sequel, no surprise. Here's our first image. How do we feel about this? Anybody can jump in.
Obviously.
Yeah.
Oh, I really like
yes,
it.
obviously, yes. I mean, just the kind of look of it. It doesn't look like a typical Marvel movie in a sense. Like the image here. It's kind of like they're posing.
Yeah, I think they know their theme. Like,
right.
I think they're kind of going along the same stride as the first one, where it's kind of like this mixture of very retro but also futuristic sci-fi, and it looks like an old, like almost 80s band album, or like just some, I don't know, it's got a very retro feel to it. So like it seems like it's going along through like the same style from the first one, I guess.
Okay.
Right. It's very modern, and it's kind of like Deadpool-esque because it's kind of like a badass kind of thing. I get like the color, the saturation is very interesting. Like it was volume 2. I'm not sure how it would be in the comics, but I like.
Yeah, I mean, I think this is the title they went with. It's kind of like going with the music.
Right?
I think it's like an
That's
album.
really cool.
Okay,
I like
gotcha.
that.
Yeah.
I really like that.
And then it's hard to probably see him, but Baby Groot is on like Star-Lord's leg there, and so he's definitely prominent. And look, we have some. Looks like new people are coming to the team. They're kind of the villains-esque, Yondu and Nebula, and so it looks like they're part of the galaxy too. But now, I hate to rush this image because we got like breaking news 10 minutes ago. They just released the first trailer for the Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2, and we're gonna briefly we'll look over it. So let's take a look here. So right there, you can already see you can hear the old song from what was in the first movie. And then there's, we get a little glimpse of Gamora, and a little glimpse of Star-Lord in this summer. They're making like a grand spectacle here. I just want to bring that back just a quick moment. There you go. So it looks like they're Looks like
Yeah, it's very funny.
It's like I'm kind of curious if they're gonna be playing Raining Men in this in this scene right here, because it looks pretty entertaining. We have people just falling. It looks like almost like kind of the same scene in the first movie, the gravity scene, where they were moving and everyone's kind of floating around. Kind
like the prison break. Yeah. See, for me, that captures so much of the tone from the first one, where it's like they're just like casually like strutting and like walking down while like all of this chaos is happening around them.
People are falling.
Yeah, exactly. It's unusual, but that's kind of like almost you expect it from a Guardians movie.
Yeah, no, I feel like that fits in well with there.
So let's move on. So that's pretty cool. Yeah, there's Star-Lord, and looks like they captured Nebula there. A lot of action going on, and then we have this. Yeah, I mean, like, it kind of just shows James Gunn are already there with the falling people. Now, like a zoom in on a wacky face. It's definitely humor coming about here. Yes,
There are two types of beings in the universe. Those who dance,
we have him back in action again as usual. They're all getting like their moment, and then they have this funny scene here. If we could hear it in the studio.
Pathetic. Like you.
Thanks, buddy.
Do you need a hug?
No, I do not.
Oh, I thought I said no.
And they're just having a heart-to-heart moment
You're
there.
welcome.
And then they don't even show you the title. It just says coming soon. Like, you already know what this is.
Yeah.
Almost. And then the final shot here, which we haven't seen much of, we get Rock close up, and then we have Baby Groot. Looks I mean,
that's one of the aspects I'm most excited about this film. Like little Baby Groot just running. Like, I'm so glad they made that choice to like have him still be
instead of like fully grown again.
Yeah, I'm glad they went with this. I think this is gonna be really fun and adorable. So,
yeah, definitely an interesting tactic here, and obviously Groot and now it's kind of like Rocket is like the big guy now.
Yeah, which is a really interesting dynamic.
Yeah, and now he's running on his shoulders, where in the first movie, Rocket was on Groot's shoulders.
Good point. Yeah, I didn't even think of that.
Yeah, so I mean, it's kind of fun what they have going on here. So I'm really looking forward to it.
Yeah.
Just came in, very exciting. But now let's just continue moving on to the news. So that was breaking news. Now here's news that's been out for a little bit. J.K. Rowling had this big spectacle of a fan announce. It was like you go to the theaters and you watch this live stream, and they're interviewing different celebrities and stuff like that, and you're in the theater and watching this. And in that whole process, she mentioned that this is going to be turned into a franchise. Not only was it a trilogy at first, now it's 5 movies. Based on what you know from the Harry Potter genre, what do you feel about this? Like this being a 5-part movie?
Well, knowing that it's a bestiary, like the actual book itself is like just a compilation of like all the different magical creatures in the universe and whatnot, I can only imagine that like we were talking about this earlier, that it could be that we're going to different parts of the world and we're going to see like the different creatures that are in each different part of the world.
Right.
And that's would be a good way to expand it to 5 movies. But other than that, I don't know how much content they're going to get out of like one small like compendium.
It's basically it's a book. It's a textbok for the students at Hogwarts.
Yeah, it was like a book within a book.
Right.
Yeah.
and now we're getting 5 movies. Any Nick, what do you think?
I mean, I don't know like their plans is like story wise, so I feel like kind of harsh to like judge it whether it's gonna be bad or good. So I don't know.
Well,
where
I guess with the idea of not knowing a property well enough, but you're knowing there are 5 movies attached to it.
I don't know. That seems a little risky, but I heard like J.K. Rowling is planning to like expand and like there's going to be more added to it. So it's not like they're just basing it off of purely one book. Like I'm sure there'll be more added. So I think it can work. I think we mentioned earlier, like I think a miniseries would have been cool too.
Yeah.
Like I think you could have worked in
Netflix
that format,
series or something like that. Yeah.
Yeah, well, if J.K. Rowling is involved, like I read that she is going to be like the main screenwriter for everything. It's going to be fantastic because it's her.
Right.
But like 5, Nick said before, he had a great line. Actually, he said like 5 is the new trilogy.
Yeah, almost.
But the Harry Potter movies are very long.
Yes.
So I don't know how long these are going to be. But the fact that it's a prologue and it's the history is very interesting for Harry Potter fans. And I think it could be a really cool thing. I'm trying to be as optimistic and romantic about this as possible. But
I can always see them like almost closing the book on this one at 5. And then it's kind of a smooth transition into
the past.
Into the past, yeah.
Yeah, which can be beautiful.
Yeah.
You never know. So
and even more interesting, just last point here is that they chose to go this route, Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them, instead of maybe giving us an origin story of other existing characters that we know and love, like maybe Dumbledore, and seeing his past. So that's interesting they went this route. But speaking of 5, Shrek is now coming. The writer of Austin of the writer of the Austin Power movies, or the first one, I'm not entirely sure, is now writing a Shrek 5. Now, Shrek was popular in its day, and it ran its course. We had a good 1, a great 2, and an iffy 3, and then a forgettable 4. But now we have a 5th one in the works. Is it necessary? Thoughts?
I liked the first Shrek. I thought that was good. But it's kind of starting to feel like DreamWorks has a meeting and they're like, does anybody have any original ideas? They're like, no. All right, another Shrek movie. That's what we're gonna do. It just kind of, I don't know. I don't feel like this. Not excited for this one necessarily.
Right, exactly. Yeah, it's like with some sequel. Okay, well for me, Shrek 2 is arguably one of the best sequels ever made, and then they should have stopped it there. No, because some with franchises, like you keep it going. It's the question of when do you stop, and when you stop scraping the bottom of the barrel for new ideas.
Right.
But like you said, with Michael McCullers being the writer, it could be hilarious. Right. And maybe he's still got it, like with Mike Myers, and I know Eddie Murphy is making a comeback too with one of his with Mr. Church.
Mr. Church, right?
Yeah. So maybe they're just like they took a hiatus, but they're coming back. So we should welcome them back. But I don't know if I want to for this.
Well, I mean,
that's the problem because Shrek is too big of a thing for us. Like, is audience question? Is this for the children? If it's for the children, it better be good because so many past recent DreamWorks movies have been terrible, in my opinion. And it's just like who is it for? But then again, to relate back to Pixar, because Shrek 2 was the highest grossing animated movie until Finding Dory.
Just recently.
Yeah. So, but since the gap is so long, and then to piggyback with that with Pixar also, Toy Story had Toy Story 3 didn't come out till 10 years after Toy Story 2, but that was a cool demand. I mean, and it was fun.
I feel like you never forgot about Toy Story.
Yeah.
It was always there, and the way that they brought it back, and it was very, especially with the idea, Andy's grown up.
Yeah.
Is Shrek older?
Right. Is the baby there?
I mean, they had 3 children. Are they?
Teenage ogres.
Are they teenage ogres? Yeah, are we dealing with parenthood now in this new Shrek movie? It's
oh man.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, if you just say, here's Toy Story 3, Andy's going to college, I don't even know anything else because we saw Andy as a child, and now you have that dynamic of toys, college, too old for it.
And the timing was pivotal too with Toy Story 3. Like that came out right when the people who watched Toy Story the original were kind of going through similar things. So I think that was, but Shrek 5, I don't know where that's.
I guess we'll see how it goes, and especially Mike Myers, Eddie Murphy, and Cameron Diaz aren't doing fantastic things right now, or at least anything at all. So I mean, they'd be on board to come back and continue this. So moving on from there, Ian McGregor basing out. So a new Rogue One trailer just came out. So I guess it's only fitting that he comes out with his own and with the comment about it. And he's like, "Hey, I'm still here, guys. I can do." Obi-Wan movies if you want. That's basically what his idea was. So based off what he said, do you would you like to see Ian McGregor portray Obi-Wan again in future Star Wars and his own standalone movie?
I would like to see that again.
Yeah,
I would like to see him come back. I think there's a lot of room for Obi-Wan to have his story expanded upon, especially since we got rid of the extended universe with the Disney takeover. You can go over to there's all that space in between episode 3 and episode 4. What does he do? He doesn't just go to Tatooine and just hide away for most of that
19 years.
Yeah.
Just going to the bar, sleeping. Oh man,
fighting out sand people.
What did Darth Vader do with his life? I can't believe it. I'm just gonna wait till his child gets older and we'll figure it out. But yeah, you're right. There's definitely a lot of story to be told there, and I think he was one of the best parts of The prequel.
I'm super excited for this because he had voiced this earlier too. Like it was like a couple years back.
Right.
He there was an interview. Where he was like, "I'm totally game for an Obi-Wan movie." He was like my favorite part of the prequels. I thought he did a great job. And there's something about, like, I've seen interviews with him and such. He just seems like a really cool guy, and there's like a likability there. And I think an Obi-Wan movie could be even a trilogy or something. Like I think it could be really, really good.
And I think he feels very connected to the character too.
Right,
so like he has like that emotional bond with like playing the character. So I think he will do a good job even if we put him in another 3 movies as Obi-Wan.
Right. I mean, kind of with Ryan Reynolds, he was so passionate about doing the Deadpool movie.
Yeah.
And then when it finally came out, it was really good, and you can feel the passion there. And I do agree with like Ian McGregor. If there's passion there now, and you give him an opportunity, I think he can do something great with it.
Yeah, and the timing might be perfect too, because now he is a little older,
Right,
so it could fit that timeline pretty.
You could do like
smoothly.
immediately after like episode 3.
Yeah, it is 11 years later since they filmed the Revenge of the Sith, so
Yeah.
or at least when it was released. So there's definitely a lot of time has passed. Moving on from there, War of the Worlds, a popular book, radio.
Disaster.
Movie, and now TV series. I feel like we're entering a trend of each week we're just naming a property that's getting their own TV series. Do you think we've seen aliens destroying the planet-esque feel, and do you think this can stretch out into its own television series?
I mean, what else is new? I mean, it's just like, I'm kind of, this whole apocalyptic trend has been going on for so long. I'm really surprised that this should have been done earlier,
right,
a few years ago. Maybe then it would have been more successful. I really don't think this will be that successful.
At least it's not zombies.
Yeah.
True, but there's just so many shows like this, and I don't see the appeal to it.
Okay.
It kind of feels like they come up with a concept and then they kind of look in the past and go, well, what franchise can we attach this to? Because the name is recognizable.
Right.
And so that will help them, I think, get more ratings than they might have otherwise. Like if it was just an original alien attacking Earth show.
I think if they play this as like a small group trying to survive in this like alien infested new world that they've come to.
Haven't seen that before.
Yeah.
I mean, I feel like this really reminds me of Falling Skies, which was a show on TNT.
Yeah.
I feel like it's very similar. I only invested myself 1 season into it, and I kind of died down. But it lasted 4 seasons, and it wrapped. Like, it didn't like end. It gave it a finale. So, I mean, this is nothing new. Aliens taking over the world. I think we've seen it already.
Yeah.
But it did work as a radio show back in the day, and people were into it then. So. Maybe putting it on the screen might.
I mean, there's an interesting spin they might be able to put on it to where it makes it like it differentiates between all the other ones that have been similar. But if they're going like the more generic route, I don't see this like lasting very long at all.
Yeah. Well, depending on the network, like you said, maybe it could have a good like full circle kind of thing, and I don't know.
Maybe.
I really don't know.
It's hard to speculate when we just have an announcement. It really is.
Yeah.
All right, so when we come back, we're going to have a new set of panelists. We're going to be talking about The Walking Dead and what to expect from it. So we'll be right back after this short break.
Today, when you have multiple devices at your fingertips, wouldn't it be great if you could run the software you need on all of them? Well, now you can. UCF Apps is a new and innovative way for you to access the applications that you need to get your coursework done from any PC, Mac, tablet, or smartphone. For more information or to give your input on UCF Apps, go to apps.ucf.edu. What are you waiting for? Start using UCF Apps today.
Lake Claire's Universities of Central Florida's place for relaxation, tranquility, and a good time. Students who crave the outdoors can experience the wonders of Lake Claire and all the benefits it has to offer. Lake Claire offers a wide variety of kayaks, wakeboards, canoes, and much, much more. All of this is free for UCF students and can be rented out every day of the year except for on football game days. Students can take advantage of the wide open spaces and throw around a frisbee with your friends, or attack the ball with our sandy volleyball court. Come by the dock, sit down, and enjoy the beautiful view of Lake Claire's clear blue waters. located just off the side of Gemini Boulevard and Greek Park Drive. This bubble of nature is one you must check out after finals week. For more information and rentals, visit our website so you can enjoy Lake Claire today.
Today, when you have multiple devices at your fingertips, wouldn't it be great if you could run the software you need on all of them? Well, now you can. UCF Apps is a new and innovative way for you to access the applications that you need to get your coursework done from any PC, Mac, tablet, or smartphone. For more information or to give your input on UCF Apps, go to apps.ucf.edu. What are you waiting for? Start using UCF Apps today.
All right, welcome back, everybody, to Beyond the Credits. I'm your host, Matt Diaz, and we have another brand new set of panelists onto the show today, and these are technically our Walking Dead specialists here. So we're going to be talking about The Walking Dead right now, but before we get to that, I'd like to introduce Megan Robinson. How are you doing today?
I'm good. How are you?
Are you ready to talk about The Walking Dead?
I'm ready. Let's do this.
All right, and then we have Ernesto Santos. How are you here?
I'm great. I'm ready.
Are you ready to talk about The Walking Dead?
I'm ready.
All right, so let's get started here. I want to kind of go into the start of season 6.
Yeah.
We have the ending of season 6, like you mentioned earlier, and what we've all experienced was we got an hour and a half of a build-up to season 7.
I mean, pretty much the whole episode was a lead up to, meeting Negan, meeting the Saviors, and in the last 4 minutes we actually get to see Negan, Jeffrey Dean Morgan,
right?
And you see him, and it's great, and you see Lucille, but then it's like you see nothing happens.
Nothing happened. Like basically throughout that whole episode, you were expecting a big character to die, and they did, but we saw red on the screen.
Yep.
After he was beating somebody with the bat, and now we don't know who that was up until now. They kind of hold it off until season 7. So, did you as a viewer appreciate waiting 6 months to see that?
As I told you, to me, it's just such cheap storytelling. Like, give us credit as an audience to know that we're gonna come back in the fall, instead of the cliffhanger being who died. It's being how do we move on from this character dying? Like, how do we take the next step in our journey in this world?
Now, from what I've heard, they didn't even know. Like, when they filmed the episode, the actors, the writers, nobody knew exactly who was going to be dead. So they did that in order to essentially buy time, but it was cheap. Like, they couldn't make a decision in the writers' meetings, so they just decided, all right, well, we'll wait till season 7.
Yeah, exactly. and they also filmed everyone's death as well.
Yep, they did.
And so people who are like trying to lurking through the bushes, see who's gonna die or who's missing from the set, they couldn't figure it out because I think they also paid actors to, if they did die, to walk around Alexandria. Oh, no, he's still there, or is he? I don't know.
They've paid most of like the big actors, as well as they've hired multiple stunt doubles to take place. So people think that they see Glenn and Abraham, but they might not actually.
They might not. You're right. You're right. And so now we're gonna enter season 7. Here's basically the big promotional thing. We don't know who's gonna die. We have 11 people on the chopping block right now, and I just want to point out that this episode is called "The Day Will Come When You Won't Be." That's the title of this episode. And there was it came to my attention that there was an episode at the season finale of season 1. Rick, there was a member of the CDC, how they went into the CDD for protection. There was Rick Grimes told the guy from the CDC, thanks for letting us stay here, and then at that time, thanks for helping us out, even though he knew that the CDC guy knew he was going to die at that point. And the CDC guy goes, "The day will come where you won't be. You won't be thankful that I saved you, because you should have just died with me and not even deal with this mess." So learning that, it's kind of interesting. They're tying back all the way back to season 1 with that title. So let's get what do you guys think? What do you think of it?
I mean, I think it's great. I mean, just from the anthology, like, this season of Walking Dead is supposed to be the pinnacle. Like, this war that's about to happen with Negan and the Saviors. And I remember in last season, we saw the Hilltop. So just showing that there's other communities out there. I won't get into too many spoilers because I haven't read the comics, but I've read some excerpts, like of what is gonna happen this season, and this is gonna be the best season of Walking Dead.
This is it. Do you agree with that statement? Do you feel like this, after 7 seasons or 6 seasons, do you think 7 would be the best one that they come out with?
No one from what I know of the comic books, and no one like what I already know about all the groups that they've introduced in the previews, like this is a Super Bowl season.
Yes,
this is where everything that has been building up, that the comic books got ahead and they started in early, but the show's been waiting. Like this is the season.
So all the people who exited the show in season 3, 4, maybe 5, they should come back for 7.
No.
Absolutely.
No. Like, let's let
Just
those
come back.
people dead.
Okay, so they're dead. They're dead from the show, but the true fans will appreciate this season a lot more since we've been through the whole process. Fair enough. All right, so let's talk about certain characters here. Negan, big baddie. He's on the promotional items here. What do we feel about the name escapes me?
Jeffrey D. Morgan.
Yeah, Jeffrey D. Morgan, right. Playing Negan, introducing Negan. We got 4 minutes of him, but now we got a full season. Thoughts on this character?
He's an amazing actor, and I think just the excerpt we saw of Negan was perfect. And it's going to be hard because in the comics, Negan curses a lot.
Right.
Like, he curses a lot. So it's interesting how they're going to warp that to work for AMC. I mean, they can get away with some stuff, but not to the level of what he did in the comic books.
Right.
No, he's great. Him and Lucille, I love him. And like he's such, compared to like we've had other threats like the governor. Still love the governor to this day. He's a great evil person. Can't think.
Villain.
Right. There you go. That's the name I'm looking for. But Negan is like a whole nother level because he has a tool. Lucille that they flashed all throughout the season. Glenn had actually picked up a baseball bat that ties in with Lucille, and just like together they're such a force. It's a villain that we haven't seen yet, and I'm interested how they're going to display it on television because the way that they did it in the comic books was very well done.
So like Negan and Lucille, which is the barbed wire baseball bat, it's kind of like Daryl with his bow and arrow.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. Like you don't separate those two.
No.
Right.
Yeah.
All right. So let's talk about the characters that are on the chopping block right now. We have Rick Grimes. I kind of like. It's like safe haven or under Lucille's bat?
He's definitely safe.
Yeah, he's fine.
He's fine.
Yeah.
So we don't have to worry about Rick.
No. I've spoken about this the last time I was on the show and in the beginning of the comic books, because the comic books do relate to the show. The story ends when he dies. Okay. That's the course of the story. So it's going to end as soon as he dies. So he's fine.
If we're approaching the Super Bowl, Rick is not going to be at the end of that bat.
No, because there's still some storyline that takes place after the Negan War.
Right,
There's still some things and a lot of interesting things that are going to take place afterwards. It's going to be interesting to see how they get to that, or what remix they are going to get to that, because there are some things that have changed from show to comic book.
Right, of course. All right, so let's get into our next big character, Glenn. Do you feel like Glenn's going to be at the end of this baseball bat, or is he going home to Alexandria?
I'm really 50-50 on this because we had that fake out death in the mid-season finale.
They kind of
and then he went on and made a statement that they aired about his death and that he was coming back
in some form.
Yeah. Like I don't know. I'm really 50-50 on that, but I think he's safe.
You think he's safe? So final line, he is safe.
Yeah.
For Sunday.
I don't think he's safe, but he's definitely not the person that we saw or hear die in the last episode.
Okay.
I don't believe he will be the first person to die when we enter season 7.
Okay, so do you still feel like he's going to die this season maybe?
Yes. He's going to go first episode. But not the first person to go this.
Yeah,
so you're saying there's gonna be more than one death in this episode?
That is one of the theories, that there could be 2 deaths. Well, because in the comic books, this whole iconic scene that everybody's crazy about, Glenn is the one who dies in the scene. Like,
but as we just discussed, there's similarities to the TV show and comic book, but like you just don't know if they're going to go that route or not.
But for the Super Bowl, we want them to go this route.
Oh, so you would prefer to see Glenn at the end of that bat?
I hope everything that panned out in the comic books pans out in live television.
You want to see it live.
But better.
But better.
Okay, yes. All right. So safe and so you're both saying safe at this point.
I'm not saying safe. He's going to die first episode.
First episode. Yes. Okay, but not the first death.
No.
Okay. All right, fair enough. All right, let's go on to his wife, Maggie.
It's hard. It's hard because she's pregnant.
Right.
But if Negan wants to make a really impactful death, which is what the comic book did, what more impactful death is a pregnant woman, like
right, yeah,
because you're not killing one person, you're killing two people,
and that could be two people,
and that could be two deaths.
True.
So you're 50-50 or safe?
I'm gonna
or dead.
I think she's dead.
She's dead.
I think she's gonna be the one who dies, because Glenn's death was so iconic because he was so close to Rick. That was, that's his other half. He's been with him since the very beginning.
Right.
But she's so iconic because she's carrying new life into this universe, and him ending that is like sending a very definitive message that I am the one in charge.
Okay. All right. And
as much as I want her dead, I don't think she'll die this episode.
Okay. Because isn't she like some type of like in charge of the hilltop and what, like the person they go to?
She becomes a leader of another group in the comic books.
Okay. Yeah. All right. So her potential is iffy unless you're all right. Going on. Daryl, how do we feel about him?
I think he's safe just because he's such a fan favorite, and he's not from the comic book universe at all. He was created purely for the show.
So he is the wild card of the Walking Dead.
But he has his own other show on AMC now.
Yeah, riding with
Dixon or
Dixon,
I don't know. Not with Norman.
Norman,
Something like that.
Riding with Reedus on the motorcycle. I'm gonna ride with Norman Reedus. Yeah.
We're just gonna watch me ride around on my motorcycle.
Yeah, because that's what the fans want.
Exactly.
Yes. Daryl.
I think he has a chance to die because Daryl picks up other stories from the comic book. He is a wild card in a show, but the storylines that he's followed has been another character that has passed away or something. So I think he has a chance to die, but too many fans would go crazy and they would lose too many views to kill him.
Okay.
They have to keep him.
I agree.
All right, moving on. We have Miss Shone also.
She's fine.
She's safe.
She's good.
I think she's safe.
Like this clear cut. Yeah, she's not going anywhere.
She's not going anywhere.
Yeah,
I don't think so.
She's gonna just go to Alexandria, pick up the samurai sword, and take a nap.
And go to town.
Her and Rick need to make babies and stuff.
Okay, so they haven't made the babies yet.
Well, in the comic books they haven't made babies yet, but they make great passionate love. That they have
we
to
saw
do
that. Even like at the when Jesus kind of walked in season 6.
Whoa.
Yeah, like can you see we're trying to do something here? And they were quick to just butt naked. Rick got a gun, she got a sword. Like, who are you? I don't care about. I'm not reaching for my towel or for my blanket. I'm reaching for my sword.
And then he awkwardly said something to his son about them being together.
Yeah.
Like, what do you mean? What?
Like they're dating.
They're dating.
Yeah.
They're getting dressed.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Rick's son, Carl.
He's safe.
Yeah, I think he's safe. He makes
safe.
a comment during the audio that we hear. He makes a comment of, after the death, do you want me to feed the eye? He threatens to feed the eye to the comic book.
Yeah, something like that.
What am I saying? Oh my gosh, he threatens to feed his other eyeball to Rick in the audio bit after the death that we hear. So he's fine.
All right, let's move on. Abraham.
I think he could be dead because in the comic book, the nurse in who died last season, that was Abraham's death. That was Abraham's death in the comic book.
Okay.
Getting shot in the eye with the bow.
Mm-hmm. See, this is who I think is first gonna.
You think he's gonna be gone first?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
He's the one that we heard die.
Especially last season, he was talking a lot about death and leading a new life and stuff like that. So I think he's definitely.
He's on the other side of his character development.
Yeah.
So
you feel like he might be the first. He might be at the end of that bat.
Mm-hmm, definitely.
Okay. All right, moving on. Sasha. Yes. Okay. How do you feel about her character?
She's safe. I think she's safe.
Yeah, she's fine.
You see, I always felt like I would be okay if she went because she was also going off her rocker a little bit.
True.
With her brother passing and all that.
Which leads us to believe she's gonna die, but no.
Yeah.
She's fine.
Okay, she's fine. All right.
Quick misdirection.
At least at the bat of Lucio, she's fine.
Oh, okay, I see. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Eugene.
As much as I want to see him go,
he's one of those.
He's just one of those. I never really cared for his character development. It's just I don't know. I just never really liked his character. But I think he's safe.
He's fine. By Lucio.
Okay.
He's gonna die soon though.
Yeah.
All right. Let's wrapping this up here. Rosita is also on the chopping block. Is she?
I think she's safe.
She's safe.
We need good boobs on the show.
Okay. we need some eye candy.
Yeah. Need some eye candy.
All right.
All right. I can go with that. I can go with
that. So she's safe. She's safe. All right. Yeah. And lastly, we have Aaron.
Oh, I forgot about him.
Yeah. He's also there.
I like his character. I mean, he has good character development. He has a good relationship with Daryl. I think he's safe.
Okay,
he's
safe.
good.
All right, so right now we've said Glenn is Abraham, and maybe Maggie.
Yep.
Are all the so I think that those are the top 3 that might be leaving us, and then Daryl maybe, but mainly not.
Yeah.
So we feel like
I wouldn't be surprised if it happened. Either way, I wouldn't be surprised if Daryl went.
Okay. All right. And then lastly, I want to talk about a newcomer that was featured in the trailer and his tiger, Ezekiel.
The fact they're doing this is awesome.
We have a pet tiger, which is weird. But just briefly, give what is his character? What can we expect from him in the season?
So he is a leader of another group, obviously. And
the Sanctuary?
Yes.
I think it's called? Yeah.
It was rumored that they weren't going to bring this into the television show because how the hell are we going to get a tiger on set?
Right.
Well, they did it.
They did it.
The fact, like when I saw this trailer, freaked out. The fact we're actually going to have the tiger. He's part of a new group. From what I remember of the comic books, I didn't dig too much deeper into this. We like him. Like he's going to be
good.
a fan favorite.
From what I understand, he's part of one of the other communities, and they rally together to go against Negan.
All right, so we're looking forward to his character. And so wrapping this Walking Dead conversation up, so we think Glenn, Abraham, and
maybe
Maggie on the chopping block. He'd be the first one to die out of the rumored 2 deaths of this season. This is the Super Bowl of The Walking Dead, and we are really looking forward to Negan and Ezekiel showing off what their character is from The Walking Dead.
Yep.
All right, awesome. All right. So I'd like to thank Megan and Ernesto for giving us their insight on The Walking Dead. And when we come back, we'll be talking about social media and film and how that correlates together. So we'll be right back after this short break.
Welcome back, everyone. Chef Nicole here at our studio kitchen to tell you about the fantastic new breakthrough in cutlery, the Dyna Blade. This knife is the latest in cutting technology. Also, it's extremely safe to use. Okay, folks. Wow. Yeah, that blade sure does cut. Hey, Jim, where's Jim? I'm losing a lot of blood here, guys. Jim, can we cut, please? I'm really starting to feel woozy.
I love my new Dyna Blade. I can cut through anything. And it's super safe. Oh, I did it. Guys, I cut myself. It's not safe.
She's out, guys. Can somebody call an ambulance, please? And cut to the logo. Oh, God, where's her finger? Oh, God, I'm gonna be sick. I can't find a pulse. I
don't know what's wrong with me, Doc. I think I'm just having an existential issue, maybe. What if I'm a nihilist?
I know just a cure.
Gee, Doc. Anything.
It's called MDPL, multidimensional perspective layering, and it's known to have strong effects on the human psyche. It results in the restoration of confidence and a sense of one's place in the universe.
Oh, man, that sounds like the perfect solution to make me myself again.
Well, here goes nothing.
Side effects of multidimensional perspective layering include, but are not limited to, extreme fits of happiness, loss of agitation, loss of stress, thoughts of world peace, a new sense of connectivity with your fellow man, random acts of kindness.
All right, welcome back, everybody, to Beyond the Credits. I'm your host, Matt Diaz, and we return back to our normal panel, not normal, but our new panelists, Nick, Gia, and Devin here. And so now we're going to be diving into social media and film. I feel like we've entered an age now where we can almost rely on not really rely to, but go to social media to find the latest information on the upcoming films and how that played a part. So as far as what you've noticed, what have you noticed that you feel like what you didn't get when maybe a couple of years ago to what we're getting now as far as advertisement or preparation for a film relating to Facebook, Instagram, Snapchat, all those social media devices?
Just a lot more in general. Right. Yeah. And it kind of, there's been a lot of films that I think have done a really good job about kind of getting the word out that there's this movie they're making, and there's a lot of interaction too. Like I've noticed some movies will have like, you know, the social media team that is very involved in like responding to comments and stuff, and it kind of makes you feel more involved in the process, and it kind of makes you like, oh, I want to go see like my friend's movie, sort of, you know. It's makes you feel a little more connected to it, which I think is, you know, a great plus, especially for smaller movies. You know, it can get a greater audience, but there's definitely more teasers, more trailers, more advertising in general.
Right. Gio, how do you feel about the whole incorporating social media and filming in part of the advertising process?
Okay, well, you have to be very careful because you don't want to give too much away and too much of the magic. But at the same time, with that interaction, it's so important because it keeps the conversation going. And there's a difference between hyping up a movie and just talking about what you see. So if on Facebook and Snapchat and social media, like there's like behind the scenes stuff, it could be really intriguing and awesome, just making sure that it doesn't give too much away. But with Movie Phone, for example, in terms of at least advertising trailers, they post a lot of trailers a lot of the time, and their captions are hilarious because their social media team is very good. Because like they would say something with like the Boss Baby trailer that was just released. They said like this kid looks all kinds of adorable, or you would say, or with The Walking Dead, as you just talked about in the last segment, like we don't like the sound of this. Like it's it's the emotion, like the immediate human reaction that a lot of viewers probably have on their own. So it kind of validates how they feel. And I think that's really cool.
Yeah, how do you feel about the whole idea of incorporating that?
I feel like social media is a double-edged sword when it comes to like movies, because you're either going to bring a movie back to life, which the example would be like Deadpool, which with the leaks a year ago, or you're gonna kill a movie, which could be shown with like Ghostbusters 2016.
Right.
Like that was a disastrous campaign. Then you had tons of people that are commenting negative things on top of on every trailer that's getting posted or any pictures. Like I remember there was a meme going around with the Ghostbusters. It was the new Ghostbusters team with Melissa McCarthy and all them, and they're in a hospital room, and the kid that they were visiting in costume just looked absolutely appalled that they're even there. Like he's lying in bed. He's like, "Oh, I have cancer, but at least I'm not in the new Ghostbusters movie."
Right.
Like,
that's what it made it look like. Anyway.
Yeah.
And so the fact that, hey, look, the actors are visiting children with cancer, but that's almost came back negative.
Yeah.
in a bad way possible. And so we have, you know, using social media to advantage, but sometimes it backfires. But then you have other, like, people use social media as a process. I think we discussed earlier, and give an example of Tom Holland's Spider-Man and his introduction. You know, aside from him, you know, his rise to into Civil War, and you know, Marvel and Sony, you know, coming together to put him in the MCU, and then now and during the filming process, I felt like almost every other day I was seeing a clip of them filming the movie. Like, you're seeing behind the scenes. And do you feel like that is good, like gets you hyped up to keeping the conversation going, like to see any movie per se, like behind the scenes, hey, come, we're filming this movie, like as it's happening? And do you feel like that can give away too much about the movie, or is that okay to even bring up in the first place?
I think that oversaturation is a big problem.
Okay.
That like if you're showing too much on social media, people are going to get sick of it. Like I personally got sick of seeing Sausage Party on my Facebook feed, and I ended up like unliking the page because I didn't want to see anymore.
It was too much.
Yeah, it was too much. Like not saying anything about the movie because I haven't seen the movie.
Right.
But like I didn't like the campaign on Facebook.
Okay.
I think it's a delicate balance, because on the other side, I'm sure they just want to get the word out as much as possible.
Right, of course.
But it's hard sometimes because it can fill up your newsfeed and you just kind of unlike it and then forget it even exists. But in the case of the new Spider-Man, I think they're doing a pretty good job, just because they've kept you up to date, but they haven't given away anything. Like, I still don't know what Spider-Man Homecoming's plot is.
Right.
Yeah, but like you'll see him hanging out with Chris Pratt on set, which just gets me more excited for him. Like, oh, this is cool. Like, it's almost like a bunch of friends hanging out, kind of like making a movie, and it's all kind of connected, and they're keeping like the things they know the audience likes about the movie alive within social media, but they're not revealing any like spoilers or anything that's gonna ruin the experience, which I appreciate. So I think that in Spider-Man's case, I think they're doing a good job.
Right.
I think they're doing it right, because you want to make sure, because especially with Sausage Party, I love Sausage Party, you have to see it, but you have to you don't want to come across as desperate either, because if like behind the scenes or like Facebook living, like, hey guys, like we're filming today, watch, like come see our movie. Like you have to be careful who's behind the camera or who's running your social media.
Right.
Because it could be a big turnoff depending on, it depends on the movie too. Like with Ghostbusters, that was a controversial
it was.
thing anyway. So you know it's gonna get
negative.
smacked.
Yeah.
But I think they did the best they could, because at the same time, it's movie news, so you want that controversy, you want that conversation. You just have to be careful, and I think we're still learning as we go.
And kind of going back to what I was saying, when you see all those behind the scenes, it hopefully it won't ruin something. Like going back to Spider-Man, we were seeing stunts of him actually doing flips, him doing his own stunts, around the green screen. I would think we also saw that with the Jungle Book before the movie came out. We saw the actor, the boy who's playing Mowgli, all by himself. And we had like these little puppets so he can talk to and interact with, but we knew the whole movie is basically one giant CGI. So
yeah, they played up the technical side of it a lot.
Right.
It's like, look at all these innovations and what we're doing with this, which
and that aspect, is that like seeing that behind the scenes make you more excited to see it, or just like a fun tidbit to know as you're skimming through Facebook?
I think in that case it would be a fun tidbit.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah. Because
does that make you want to see the movie even more?
Not necessarily. I think it's more like just kind of like, oh, that's cool. Like that's really neat how they filmed that scene, but it doesn't get me excited of getting into the theater.
I can think of one thing that actually got me excited, and that was I forgot the subtitle, but Kubo. With the paper, the stop motion movie.
Yeah.
Like seeing how they actually like made the movie on Facebook, like seeing them like go through the process of moving all like the little characters and stuff. Stop motion's really cool to me, so like that made me actually want to go see the movie, which I still haven't.
I haven't invested my time and money yet,
but I want to.
But I want to, and I guess that's the idea, because you don't really have to see it. They would like you to see it as soon as it comes out, but if you see it eventually, well, as long as you paid for it, that's all they care about. But so I mean, social media has definitely been an intricate part of the whole movie process. And even like with actors today, like Vin Diesel and The Rock, they're just blasting themselves as an actor, like, hey, this is what I'm doing, here's my workout for the new movie I'm doing. And do you think that's okay?
That's awesome.
Okay.
That's cool, because that's an actor like talking about his experience,
right,
which you want to know about, as opposed to like behind the scenes production, because like you said, it's kind of like you don't want to risk anything. But I think that's cool. I think that's like a human experience. I think it's connecting with with their followers, and that's the kind of content I would want to see. Like, I want to see your workout for this movie. Like, what are you doing? Why do you have to do this? I want to know why.
So getting closer to the actors is good.
Yes.
At least in your opinion. You guys
I think
agree?
in some cases, like, well, a really interesting campaign for me was actually The Secret Life of Walter Mitty.
Right.
I thought their use of social media was really interesting, because without giving away anything of the plot or the storyline, they would post and share things that, because The Secret Life of Walter Mitty is a very visual movie. So like they would post things that kind of carried a similar tone or visual aesthetic or something. So like the audience would know, like, oh, hey, if you like what we're posting here, sharing like different like works of art or like little pictures and photos from set, then you'll probably like the movie. So like they shared things that were along the same tone and theme, instead of giving away like a bunch of clips from the movie. But like, so I saw that and I was like, oh, this looks interesting, because I appreciate and like what they're sharing, so I'll probably like the actual film itself.
The movie, yeah, makes sense. All right, so when we come back, we're going to be talking more about the, I guess, advertising process. But we had social media. Now we're going to dive into trailers shortly after that. So when we come back, we're going to be talking about movie trailers, and is that good, bad, too much, too little? But we'll talk more about that after the break.
Today, when you have multiple devices at your fingertips, wouldn't it be great if you could run the software you need on all of them? Well, now you can. UCF Apps is a new and innovative way for you to access the applications that you need to get your coursework done from any PC, Mac, tablet, or smartphone. For more information or to give your input on UCF Apps, go to apps.ucf.edu. What are you waiting for? Start using UCF Apps today.
Lake Claire's Universities of Central Florida's place for relaxation, tranquility, and a good time. Students who crave the outdoors can experience the wonders of Lake Claire and all the benefits it has to offer. Lake Claire offers a wide variety of kayaks, wakeboards, canoes, and much, much more. All of this is free for UCF students and can be rented out every day of the year except for on football game days. Students can take advantage of the wide open spaces and throw around a frisbee with your friends, or attack the ball with our sandy volleyball court. Come by the dock, sit down, and enjoy the beautiful view of Lake Claire's clear blue waters. Located just off the side of Gemini Boulevard and Greek Park Drive, this bubble of nature is one you must check out after finals week. For more information and rentals, visit our website so you can enjoy Lake Claire today.
Today, when you have multiple devices at your fingertips, wouldn't it be great if you could run the software you need on all of them? Well, now you can. UCF Apps is a new and innovative way for you to access the applications that you need to get your coursework done from any PC, Mac, tablet, or smartphone. For more information or to give your input on UCF Apps, go to apps.ucf.edu. What are you waiting for? Start using UCF Apps today.
Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Beyond the Credits, and joined by my lovely panelists are here, Nick, Gia, and Devin. And so we just kind of sort of wrapped up on social media. We can still continue that conversation for sure. But kind of moving into the advertising process, we go from social now to the first trailers released. And even what we experienced earlier in the show today, we saw an image of our first poster of Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2. Typically, a trailer follows shortly after that, but this was like an hour later instead of a couple of days or months later. Typically, we see an image before the trailer. So let's talk about trailers. And I know we all share a same opinion. We like well, first of all, are trailers good or bad? And I'll leave it at that. So Nick, what do you think about? How do you feel about trailers?
I think they can be good because I think it's important to kind of have at least an idea of what you're going into, or at least I like to kind of just have a feeling. But I think especially like nowadays, it's getting better thanks to Star Wars. I feel like that really set a really positive trend. Where
Star Wars:
it's like,
The Force Awakens.
Yeah, The Force Awakens. Okay. Yeah, because they didn't give away anything, but it got everybody excited. And again, they can afford to do that. Yeah. They could have just said, posted, hey, we're making a new movie, and people would have flocked to the theater. But
they could have just showed the scene like, Chewie, we're home.
Yeah.
And that's it.
They didn't even need to show anything. They could have just, But, so I see why, especially smaller movies, they need to show a trailer and such. But I think they're good. I think they're, in the end, they can be good. They just have to be done correctly.
I guess the other question, when does it become bad? When do trailers become unnecessary?
When it's like a short version of the movie. I feel like that's when it becomes I'm a fan of the trailers that will show a moment, or I feel like comedies are really guilty of showing the entire storyline of a movie. But I feel like when it gives away the beginning, middle, and end, that's when a trailer becomes too much, I think.
Gia?
Well, I agree. I agree with you. I love trailers that have just one scene and it sets the tone for a movie. But my favorite trailers, I have to say, is I'm a huge trailers are huge with me. My favorite trailers are the West Side Story trailer from 1961, Jersey Boys 2014, and Love and Mercy. And with those, I think because especially with Jersey Boys and Love and Mercy, they're biopics. So with those, they tell the story, they have an arc, and it's an art within the trailer because they establish it with the music, with certain one-liners, with certain things. So as long as they're done right and there's not too many trailers, they're awesome. Because the main problem is you can't have a teaser for a teaser and then the trailer. It ruins it. For me, I don't know.
Right, because Marvel comes to example when I saw they were teasing the Iron Man 3 trailer the day before. They show
why? Just wait. No one's looking around. Just wait. Drop it and then let it boom.
Right.
That's my thing on how much should be.
And because they typically do is like, hey, some people just drop it, like Guardians did. They just dropped it.
That was a brilliant idea.
Right. Yeah.
No, because that's the power of social media. Because you see the picture, oh my God, give it an hour, everyone's gonna be talking about it. And then the trailer, oh my God, the trailer, and then stop.
Right.
it's like that give and take and that abruptness that can be either detrimental or super helpful for a film.
And then you have the announcement, hey, we're releasing the trailer tomorrow. Like you got a day's notice without anything else. You just text, hey, it's coming out tomorrow. Sometimes like, hey, or even Rogue One, we're doing the new Star Wars trailer during the Olympics on this day. So you got to watch the Olympics to find out those trailers. Same goes with the Super Bowl commercials.
Yeah.
Like they're telling you which trailers there are, but then you have teaser trailers that kind of you're right, it's off. But how do you feel, Devin, about
trailers? They can go both ways. Like I said with social media, like it really depends on how they use it. Like I can look at the Rogue One trailer. I really like the Rogue One trailer because it doesn't settle on like one scene for too long. It like jumps around. It shows a bunch of the different settings. It shows all the different characters. It flashes Vader twice.
Yes.
And like it's exciting. It gets you excited because it gives you a taste of the movie, but it's not giving you a chunk of the movie.
Right.
You know?
You have like a small plot point of what the movie's kind of about, but not too much where we know a lot about the characters, a lot about this, a lot about that.
Yeah. You get more of like the characters and the visuals versus like what the movie is actually about. And I think that's important. But then it can go both ways again, because like you can have a trailer that is a chunk of the movie. Like what I'm thinking of specifically is Hardcore Henry, because the first trailer that came out for that movie when it was still getting crowdfunded,
right?
It was just like out of nowhere. Like all you know is that it was from this guy's first person view.
Right.
You see a World War II-esque looking soldier, and he tells the main character to protect the cripple.
Right.
And from that scene on, it's just a bunch of action and shooting and whatnot, and it's really fun to watch because like it's a taste of the movie. And though when you actually watch the movie, that scene doesn't come on till all the way at the end. Right. So it's really nice because like it's building up to that point, and then you finally understand where that scene fits in the context of the movie.
Well, you brought up a good point. Seeing the ending of the movie in the trailer, but you realized that was the end of the movie after you watched that.
Oh, it wasn't the end of the movie.
It wasn't the end of the movie.
But it was very close to the end of the movie.
Oh, close. Okay.
Yeah.
But even close to it, like typically they don't like to reveal I don't like to see the end of the movie in the trailer, but I mean, how that idea of like you're showing so many clips, and like sometimes you watch a trailer, you're like, oh, I've seen that in the trailer already.
Yeah. Well, for me, it's like I almost go in sometimes and I can't help but do it. Like it's almost like a checklist.
Yeah.
Where like I know where the movie's gonna go. Like, well, I've seen the trailer. They go to like some aquarium, so I know they're gonna hit that point. It's like it's. You start checking it off. Like, oh, that was in the trailer. That was in the trailer, and then it's almost like, I don't know. It's not as fun. I'd rather like not know where it's going.
Right.
I'd rather not be able to predict it.
And see, that was nice about the trailer that I was talking about, because instead of it just being like a list of checks, it's just one check. It was just one check, and it was like, oh, so that's where this fits in. And since when you saw the trailer, you didn't really have the context. Like, you didn't understand like who the World War II guy was. Like, who is this guy that's holding the gun that we're seeing through his eyes?
Yeah, like the new Pirates of the Caribbean trailer. I thought that was really good. Like, I think that's a teaser, though, right? That's not a full trailer.
Yeah, but I mean, essentially, it played out a scene.
Yeah, exactly.
Because the new Guardians was technically a teaser trailer or whatever. It's not a full length trailer.
There's so many terms now. For
yeah,
each,
exactly. I think teaser's like an hour 30, full it's like 2:30, 3 minutes. But like for that, we saw a lot going on, but we don't know what the movie's about. And we saw a short scene of Drax and Star-Lord just kind of hugging, I guess.
Yeah, that was great. I think that was.
It was important, right?
I thought that was a really good teaser trailer.
And now I'm almost expecting for that scene to get that check off the list. And then I feel like there's some movies like they have Frozen. They had Sven and Olaf have a little short interaction, and they just said Frozen. That scene was not in the movie whatsoever. It was just a basic advertisement. Would you rather see that?
I feel like they do that a lot with animated movies, especially. Yeah, yeah. I'm okay with that sometimes. Like there's some times where I was like, oh, I kind of wish that moment was in the trailer, but normally I'm okay with that because then the whole movie's new.
Right.
And
Exactly.
there's nothing you've already seen.
I think it's nice to have like a.
All right. So final thoughts here on trailers. I guess final thoughts on when is there a point where we're getting over excessive on trailers? Like when they should just stop, like even TV spots. I feel like doing more things on that. So quick thoughts on that.
I say when a trailer's over 4 minutes, that's too much.
Too much.
Yeah, too much.
So keep it
moderation.
Moderation.
Yeah.
All right. Or even like, what do we got? Like too many 1 minute trailers. Like what do you think?
Yeah.
Too many 1 minutes. Yeah, keep it at one.
Right.
Seriously, just one, and then a full two. I would say my sweet spot for trailer. My friend and I were my boyfriend was making a movie.
Right.
And I helped him with his trailer, and it should be like 2:37. That's the sweet spot.
Okay.
For me.
All right, Devin. Last thought.
I think that movies. I don't know. I don't really have.
Okay, all right. But anyway, we have to end this show. But thank you, Nick, Gia, Devin, for coming on to the show. Thank you, Megan and Ernesto, for coming. Always follow us on Facebook and be sure to bye.
Clinton will face off with Donald Trump at this year's first presidential debate on Monday.